Hey, this is Ciderhelm, and welcome back to Pro Playbacks. Today we're going to look at the critical team fight between Gambit and SK Gaming. At the start of this fight, SK's Volibear has flashed in to flip Jarvan towards his team. The casters mentioned that it looked like he could have flashed towards Varus instead. However, this would have been unlikely to succeed, as Varus was a little further out at the time of the flash, and there would have been some reaction time for Zyra or Varus to land their immobilizes. But why Jarvan? While every member of Gambit has their flash available, Jarvan also has another form of mobility with his Demacian standard. If Gambit wants to disengage, they can still do so. Which comes down to the core problem with this entire team fight. SK Gaming is trying to force a fight, but they're not bothering to exploit any advantage in doing so. And in fact, they're starting this fight with 2 flash cooldowns already burned. They think they're going to win this simply by virtue of their current kill lead, regardless of positioning or cooldowns. Coincidentally, this is exactly the problem Curse had against Cloud9 in our last Pro Playbacks episode. So after being flipped, Jarvan walks right back behind Volibear without any concern. In other words, the flash did virtually nothing and Gambit could still walk away. But Jarvan didn't walk back to escape, instead he was positioning to make sure that Volibear was also knocked up when he counter-initiated directly onto Sona. With Shen joining the fight, this will place Jarvan directly in the middle of all 5 members of SK. SK wanted a fight and now Gambit has fully committed to it. To SK's credit, Ashe and Sona have coordinated their ultimates. Ashe's arrow was fired immediately upon Jarvan entering the fight, while Sona was still knocked up, and Sona followed this up just moments later with her ultimate, snagging both Jarvan and Zyra. We've seen this combo of Ashe and Sona ultimates coordinated poorly in the Spring Split, but in this case they are responsible for preventing Jarvan from being able to Cataclysm. Both Jarvan and Zyra will not survive this initiation from Gambit, leaving the fight at a 3v5. Before going down, Zyra managed to drop her Stranglethorn's ultimate underneath most of SK. This, combined with Varus' ultimate, is going to net Shen, Volibear, and Kennen in the damage and knockup, and split Ashe off to the back of the fight. Zyra also managed to drop her Ignite onto Sona, and in just a moment she will die from the final tick of the debuff. Now before we resume this, let's draw our attention to Varus. At this moment his team is outnumbered, and SK has every reason to assume they're going to win this fight. But watch his focus. Instead of firing solely onto the closest target, he will change targets to higher threats as Kennen and then Ashe move into range after his teammates. And while he misclicks a minion once when switching to Ashe, this is completely devastating to SK. And as this fight closes out, there's one huge thing to notice. Genja as Varus is at full health with both summoners available. SK came into this fight assuming an advantage and didn't approach it in a way that gave them a bigger advantage. And while it looked favorable once Jarvan and Zyra went down, most of their burst damage was already consumed. The problem with fighting Varus, Jace, and Elise at this point is that none of them rely on their ultimates for their damage, and all 3 of them bring strong damage. This is made even worse when your remaining players are primarily melee range and have trouble actually engaging in the first place. Thanks for watching this episode of Pro Playbacks. Let me know in the comments below how you feel SK should have played this differently.